welcome to our very first episode here of the WireTap Podcast with your hosts Alex and Carlos. And
What's up? What's
Carlos,
up?
let's just say hello to the people. Well,
Hey,
thanks for
how you doing?
joining
How
us.
you doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Órale, mi gente.
Let's start off a little bit by saying what could you expect from this podcast? Just like the name itself, WireTap. Why? Because we're tapping every aspects of life, gossip, finance, inspirational, just whatever comes to mind. We're no experts. We're no
Right
claim to
type
be experts
content.
in none of this.
Yep.
But we know a little bit about some stuff, and we like to share it and just see where this goes.
Yeah, we're not professionals at all. We're professionals in certain things that we do on a day-to-day basis, but the reality is these are simply opinions, and we want to deliver the right kind of content. So the content that you get is hopefully entertaining. Hopefully you come back. Hopefully you check us out. Hopefully you share us. So keep in mind of the WireTap Podcast.
Yes, sir. And then one of the first topics that we will probably jump into is the cash versus credit.
Oh man, cash versus credit topic. I love topic. I honestly, man, I struggle with this. I struggle with cash versus credit because, I believe that cash is king. Cash is always going to be king because here's the thing. As much as I love technology, sometimes technology will tend to fail us. Sometimes, you'll run your credit card through and before you know it, hey, it's not working. And, you've got money in there, the account is valid and sometimes it doesn't work. But we're not just talking about the process of cash and credit. We're talking about, is it better? Is it better to focus on cash or is it better to focus on credit? I'm in between because I appreciate cash. I love the cash purchasing power. I'm not going to lie, but when it comes to credit tends to open doors. As you know, Alex, tends to open doors when it comes to purchasing a home, purchasing a car, credit cards, loans. It begins to open doors to really, in certain ways, the unknown. And cash, you're bound and you're limited in certain ways. So if you've got $1,000, you can only spend up to $1,000. If you've got $10,000, then of course the same thing. However, with credit, it gives you the ability to tap into cash on future cash coming in. Alex, I don't know about you, but I'm a fan of both, but I've always been the kind who likes to play the system. I love playing the system and watching my credit score go up. I don't know about you. I like to open up credit card accounts. And when I open up credit card accounts, I like to open them, use them, then close them. And when I mean close them, I mean close out the debt. Don't close out the account because that'll make your points drop. At some point I had 26 credit cards.
Jeez, that's too much, man.
Craziness. I know, but it got my score up, right?
Well, it depends because you have a lot of credit cards. And before we jump off, I just want to say, renting is sometimes you do have cheaper rent, but as rent goes up, now it's almost the same as you're paying a mortgage.
Yeah,
but it gives
times,
you that liberty to just get up and leave, right? No commitments. You just may lose your deposit or whatever the case may be. And you're not paying taxes. You're not paying no maintenance on anything. Sometimes you're not required to give any large down payment, but buying a home gives you that flexibility of maybe taking some of that money and build that equity. You're able to maybe withdraw a little bit and do something else, maybe invest it or build, maybe make your house a little bit more appealing in case you in the future decide to sell it.
Yeah.
So it definitely has its pros versus renting. Versus your credit cards. Man, I've only had 3 credit cards or pretty much this whole time. Maybe possibly 4, but I'm not the type that is going to open many credit cards. But just like you said, you want to pay them out, close them out, and that'll boost because what you're looking for is the history of
credit.
Paying, right? You're paying,
you're
paying, and always having that 30% debt to
or under.
Income.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Usage,
utilization.
Correct.
Yeah, your utilization
Correct.
rate. Yeah.
Because the more you use, the more if it's higher, then that means your credit is going to be lower. But as soon as you pay it off, it's going to go up. So what they're looking is making sure that I can trust you that you're going to pay me back, and that's
all. Yeah, that's right. That you've made a very valid point, a very key point in all of this is credit. The reality is it's all about trust. Can this corporation, can this bank, most of the times it is a bank, can they trust you to make the payments on time and that you can afford these payments, right? Unlike you've got some other banks throughout history that we've seen that have been, not very responsible with giving out loans or assigning lines of credit where people can't pay those. And that includes mortgages. If you remember the big mortgage boom that took place a couple of years ago. But yeah, that's exactly what it is, Alex. It's the ability to be trusted with cash that you currently don't have, correct? But you can bank on it towards the future. And you always got to watch your interest rates and things of that nature. But for me, man, I'm a fan of cash and credit. But if anything, especially in our culture, I don't know what it is. We're incredibly focused on credit because we believe that in credit, when it comes to credit, it opens the door, right? It creates an American dream where we wouldn't have if we were in our own country, right? And I think about my parents specifically.
One of the things talk about my parents, one of the things my mom taught me is even though she kind of allow people to use her name but basically is you shouldn't let anyone use your name. You shouldn't co-sign for anybody, maybe yourself and your wife, but think about it, how many times, you end up in a bad relationship with your spouse and things just go off the cliff, So I think off the cliff, yeah, for sure. So it's like you always got to be careful, and one of the things you got to pass on to your children is, hey, don't let no one use your credit. Help them, show them, help them build their own. But like that's your name. That's what's gonna open you doors that potentially, you can buy that house and buy the other one because you built that credit line that you're trustworthy. That I can, hey. Yeah, what do you need? $400,000? Here you go. Get those 2 houses and pay me back. That's what the bank is basically saying. So if you're letting your money, or if you do let someone use your credit, just know that if anything happens, you are responsible for it. Am I going to be willing to pay for that? And if you are, fine. And make sure that you're doing the payment because you don't want them to not, give it on time and then it starts affecting your credit. You do the payment, they pay you, and then you do that. You take care of it, so you know for sure that the payments are making there on time.
Absolutely.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah, no. I totally agree. And I think if you are going to co-sign, if you are going to allow someone to get in and to honestly ride your wave, right? If you want to put it in a better way, you got to prepare yourself mentally. You got to also prepare yourself legally. Make sure you have some kind of binding contract that if they back out, they're still responsible. And maybe you could even put in that actual contract that you can seize assets because you need to secure some kind of asset. If you're co-signing on anything, you always need to at least secure some kind of asset to protect your money. That's important. It's your credit. It's your life. It affects not only you, but it includes your family. I mean, you're dead on, Alex, and I totally respect it. I value that opinion, especially in our culture. It's so important. But the way, if there's anything I could say about this, it would be take care of your credit so that it leaves you cash. Take care of your credit so that it leaves you with cash. That's my approach to things. I don't know about you.
No, you're absolutely right. And if you want to, and this is going to be a revolving thing because I know that both of us like to focus on building wealth, right? And slowly building our little nest egg one piece at a time. So this is going to be a revolving thing as far as credit, investing.
Inflate that balance sheet. Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
So, but let's go ahead and just jump on to our next topic here.
Oh my gosh, you're going to jump into this topic, Alex. This is crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
How crazy is this going on right now with the Capitol riot? Like it's like I was talking to my wife, and before we go into a lot of specifics on what's going on, these people just storm in there. Cops let them in through the first barricade, then they went in, then broke in, and now these people are crying. They're like, "Why is this happening?" It was like, dude, the easiest way I can tell you is think about if you're speeding on the regular road. Now that's one punishment, but if you're speeding in a school zone or in a construction zone, that's twice the offense, right? Now, it's one thing. One thing is breaking into a building or a private business, and that's bad on itself. But another thing is breaking into a federal government building with, government officials inside that place with their family, and expected
creating
to be
an insurrection and trying to stop a vote that was simply ceremonial. You're
Yeah,
stopping
dude, you're
official
going
federal
against our
business.
democracy. That's not acceptable at all. It's not acceptable,
Yep,
and
yep.
you should get punished harsher, right? Because you're breaking the law at a very severe. You're trying to overthrow our government, and yeah, you're
Yeah.
almost a terrorist. I mean, I don't see why
No, it's
people are saying it's not
terroristic.
a big deal.
No, you
I
need
don't
to
know why
say it.
saying
It's
yeah.
terroristic. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
it's
why the people are
terroristic.
saying it's very. Go ahead and jump into some of the
No,
details
no, no,
if
no.
you want.
I listen, man. These details. I don't know about you, man, but I was home that day, and I clicked in. The only reason I logged in or logged in, look at me. The only reason I tuned into the news was to watch, simply to watch history. And all of a sudden, in the midst of history being made, every 4 years history is made. I'm not talking about just because the exodus of our president, Donald Trump, and President-elect Joseph Biden is kicking in. I'm not talking about watching it because of that. I am simply discussing this particular issue on watching history being made, the changing of the guard, correct? The
Mhm.
passing of the torch. That's simply the only reason I wanted to watch it. And before you know it, before my eyes, I am watching the news shift from history being made to a different type of history being made outside. And I watch the news, Alex, for about, it's so sad to say, as I have my computer open working, about 6 hours, bro. 6 hours I'm watching this stuff happen. They're going into the Capitol. They're breaking inside the floor. People are getting shot. People are getting pepper sprayed. The Capitol Police is there, but that is all you see. Do you think they can hold that crowd down?
No,
Absolutely not. And you
no.
saw it. Listen, I don't know, and this is just my personal, I don't know if I would be one of the ones who say, man, just go ahead and go on through. You can't
No, you know
hold this
what? You
crowd
know,
down.
no, dude. And the thing is everyone's very passionate about what side they're playing, right? You could,
Yeah,
but you know what?
yeah,
You can have a dialogue and just be like, hey, okay, that's your matter of opinion, and be strong minded and everybody shake at the end of the day, right? Shake their hands and walk away. But these people that are there and they were pushing, that's the people that are super passionate that it can actually hurt someone. And Donald Trump saying, hey, we will stop the steal in inciting in and not and Trump might have done some good things in his presidency, but he definitely divided the country. I think, and I'm not to hate because he's got some pro business ideas, and but most of these other things that he was doing, like, come on, man, 80 million people voted for Biden. Think about
yeah,
Georgia. Georgia was
yeah,
always Republican for the last, I don't
yeah,
know,
man.
20 years or more. And all of a
Truly
sudden
history.
it flipped blue. Why? Because people got tired of the rhetoric. They feel that the country wasn't going in the right direction and they made a switch. 80 million over what is it? 75, 80 million people voted. Like
Yeah,
and then the runoff, right? They were thinking Sonny Purdue in Georgia because that's the state we're
of
in
course.
Lawford, and what they got overruled too. And so I mean the country said something, and you just need to accept your loss. And because when he's saying I'm not gonna concede, we will not concede because they stole it from us. It was like, dude, it's too late. Like everyone already accepted that you lost.
And here's the thing. Listen, I am the individual who tries not to get passionate about things. I really do. I've toned it down over the years. I'm not going to lie, but there are some things that there's no excuse for. No matter what political party you're on, no matter what side you stand on, no matter what, there was no excuse that this took place. And listen, we could blame our president for this, and I'm still going to refer to him as our president because he is. He still
Yeah,
is.
he
He
is.
still is.
Yep.
But here's the thing: you cannot put all the blame on this man because some of these people on here were going to do whatever they wanted regardless. But it did not help. Here's the other part: it did not help the speeches that were taking place prior to that. Not just that day,
Correct.
but other things that have taken place. Yes, I agree. Look, I struggled with this vote. I did. I struggled with it. But let me tell
Hey,
you something. That was not okay, man.
no, dude, it was not okay. Let me just add because I saw a little, of course, everywhere now you're getting little clips, but like Alexandria Ocasio did her Instagram live, and
Yeah,
saw some
I saw
snippets just
that.
because.
Yeah, I saw it.
And one of the things is like she was
And I
saying is
wonder
like,
what she went through, bro, that she can't
no, that
say.
she
Do you
said.
notice
She said,
that?
I feared for my life. She said, I was deeply scared for my
Oh
life.
yeah, but you
And I can
wonder what was
imagine,
she, because she said she couldn't talk about certain things because there were certain security
no, because
measures
you
that
know
she had
what?
to follow. Something
Yeah,
happened.
but there were some other instances where like one of the I didn't even know what her name is.
Protester. Oh, okay,
No,
okay,
no, no. It's she's also a congresswoman. Of she's African American.
okay.
And her office, all the panic buttons, all the protocols that they do for safety,
Yeah,
they were ripped off the wall. So none of those panic buttons work. So it almost feels like there was a not a collude, but you know what I'm saying? It was like almost like something happened that I don't know. It's kind of weird. And then she said, "I fear for my life," and I can imagine because she's a big target. We all know that because
of
she
course.
talks a lot and she gives
Yes,
it to him
yes.
straight, and she shares her opinions just like
Yeah,
we share
yeah,
our opinions.
yeah, yeah.
And there's, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people in that crowd that don't like her, and I
Oh,
can
absolutely,
imagine they wanted to
absolutely.
inflict harm on herself, right? But whatever. But
Yeah.
dude, I saw it and I was like, oh, I can see that. I can see why
I
she felt that
can.
way.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. They've been attacking her since day one, brother. They have. They have been so focused on her. But here's what I'm excited about. Here's my excitement out of all of this. And it's not political. Some may say, well, it's just because, this is taking place. No, 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 no. That's not where my excitement lies. My excitement lies where our Secret Service, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the CIA, any kind of intelligence are tracking these people down. And they're
Oh yeah,
tracking these people down and they're taking them down and they're pressing and they're pressing and they're going hard on these people as they should. They deserve it,
dude.
man.
It's
They
like you
deserve it,
can't,
bro.
yeah, you can't fall into that or just go with the crowd, especially if a lot of people and you have a lot to lose. Like think about yourself, and if you were put in that position, and you're like, man, maybe I need to what? I mean, look out for my future because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people there that are gonna lose their jobs, they're gonna lose everything because why? They just made a bad decision,
They made a
and
bad decision.
again, you
Yeah,
broke into
yeah.
a federal government building. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not just any
Let's go
building.
back. Let's go back to the principle of this. You
Yeah,
broke into a federal
with
building.
with government officials in the building
Yes,
fearing
yes,
for their
yes.
life. I mean,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's not gonna be easy. I feel sorry for them, but then hey,
They
you were
deserve it.
there. You decided to go and push that.
I agree. No, no, no. I totally. Have you seen what Washington is like today? Have you seen what it's like right now?
Actually, I've been working all day and I haven't had a chance to even turn on TV or nothing.
I keep the news on in my office on purpose, especially for the next couple of days, especially after right on the 20th, is because you don't know what to expect. It's incredibly nuts. But the thing is, what I have learned after today is that the whole city is on lockdown, man. It is. Let me tell you this. I have a friend of mine who posted today on Instagram, and I made a comment, but he's stationed in DC. He said he had a harder time getting out of DC than he did this morning coming in. Listen, he had to go through some barricades. He had, I mean, some basically checkpoints, not barricades, some checkpoints this morning. He had to go through that. But today, this afternoon, when he's leaving the office, he said it was times 3. So you can imagine the kind of commotion that's taking place right now. I mean, you can just imagine what's happening. So, all that to say, I hate for the things that have taken place. I hate what has happened to our country. I hate to see it now in real time. Everyone would love to talk about the fake news and how the fake news is making it worse, et cetera, and what they're saying. It's not true. He's not dividing the country, et cetera, et cetera. Look, now we see the division. And I don't want to put blame on the president on this, but somebody's got to take responsibility. Somebody's got to take some kind of responsibility. And I'm frustrated and I'm tired of it, man. And we just need some change. This is not okay. This is not the America. This is not my America. This is not my America. That's all I keep saying to myself. This is
No, dude,
not my America.
I think we need unity, right? I think we all need to come together, and it doesn't matter. We can all share different sides of opinion, but at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We all pro America, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we all want to succeed. When people joke around and don't want Trump to win or anything like that. It's like, dude, no, he's our president. This is for our country, and we all have to be glad and just make sure that then our next president, Biden, even though you're not for him, you could be pro America, you can be for America, you can bring unity, and there's a reason why, when we had the Civil War, they lost.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They lost,
Absolutely.
and they gotta accept that, or the people will feel very strong. And I know we're getting like on the deep end here, but like we always try to see both sides to every story, and they're in the wrong side of the history today. I'm sorry, we're in the making a new change, and everybody voted, and that's where we're going.
And I know we got to cut this off and we got to go into something else, but some of the rumors that are taking place, there's a lot of rumors out there right now saying that, President Trump is going to start his own news network, right? That he's going to try to monetize his followers. Number one. Number two, they're talking and discussing how at some point there could be a third party which could lead in the swing vote. In other words, they become the decision makers. There's so much.
But think about it.
There's a revolution, apparently, right?
Dude, but if that happens, they're only splitting their own party anyways.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
The Republican Party. And I'm saying their party because I'm saying like the hard Republican. Because I consider myself independent. I like to see what side of what makes sense to me and what aligns with my morals. But I'm not pro-Democrat or pro-Republican. It depends on where my ideas line better at the time with the president. That's being.
But you still respect and you still support.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I said, I'm pro-America, right? We're all pro-USA at the end.
Of course.
And the ones that are not, then they're not being true patriots.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's hop off into a different subject, and one that I've been,
Oh gosh, you're gonna get into this now again?
No, it's just the EV world, right? Because you're starting to see it's taking.
You might want to break it down for those of them that are listening. For some of our listeners right now, you want to break off and break it down a little bit when it comes to EV, man, because some people may not be familiar. I know some out there are probably familiar, but you might want to break that down because
Well, it's mostly we're talking about the electric vehicle world, right? That's taking wind. Everybody, because we're trying to transition from fossil fuels and move into a new direction. And I think it's going to take it's going to take a while. I think I'm a big time Formula One fan, and even in there, they got a projected 2035 where everything's going to be clean energy. And I think the world's, for the most part, is ready to accept that. And that's why I think Tesla is obviously the pioneers. It's the pioneers. They're the ones that are pushing the boundaries. But you got these companies but you got these companies and they're coming. You got Neo, which is another company that's making wind, and you got Lucid Motors that are gonna be joining with I think CCIV that are
CCIV,
buying and they're talking about cars from the 100,000 range, of course, but
Candy Technologies is jumping into this.
And then the other company, you got another company. Dude, you got the other company that I think I invested into was NGA, which is they're buying. Well, I think me and you personally spoke with it in some of our podcasts that we tried to make sure that everything was going to go smooth and felt comfortable before we did the first live one, and they're buying, like, Lion is making buses, school buses, little commute trucks for like deliveries. And I think it's
tractor trailers.
Yeah, people need to start investing, keep an eye on, because Biden, of course, is going to be pushing, not to go back to politics, but he's pro environment, right? So these companies that are not fossil fueled and they're looking for the environment they're gonna make wave, and you need to be invested in some of those companies.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Listen, I am not against moving out of fossil fuel. I think we need to take care of our planet. I think our planet takes a hit in so many ways. And the first time I truly, and I'm telling you this, some of our listeners could be out in Cali. We don't know those analytics yet. But one of the things that I've recently, actually maybe a couple of years ago, when I first it sunk in about polluting and littering, was when I took off and I went to California and I ended up heading over to Long Beach, and I ended up going to a beach that was nearby. I stayed near Long Beach, of course, right down, truly right down the street from the beach. But here's the point. I went out running one day, and as I was out running, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to run down on the beach instead of at the top. And I go down to the beach, and I see nothing but trash. And I'm like, what? What is this about? And then I look off at the distance and I see a barge, Alex. I see a barge, probably one of the biggest barges I've ever seen, bro. Full of trash, just trash, man. And you know that trash is falling off of that barge and it's washing up on shore. And ever since then, man, I made even more of a serious vow that I'm gonna do a better job of watching what I throw out, being more careful what I put in the trash. I have made a more conscious decision. But here's the thing: moving away from that in a kind of way, and going back to EV. The only thing I struggle with these electric vehicles is the battery.
Okay, so two things, because I wanted to expand on what you said about the environment and the trash.
Yeah.
I like these new entrapments I've seen a couple videos where on the sewer ends, they have this little entrapment where the water goes through, but it drags all the trash towards the, like, let's just say right side or the left side. And they got a ramp where it stores it and it goes into the entrapment, and then the truck comes down and then it picks up all that trash, just trying to get it. And I think that's a very good idea. Whoever came up with that, they need to be implemented a little bit more where you're separating, trying to get a lot of that trash instead of going to our oceans. And, right. And I also try to be a little bit more careful when it comes to that. But
you got to take care of what you've been given. Absolutely.
I think in the last couple of days, I've been looking into nickel, right? Because nickel's starting to become, Tesla wants more of it because it basically helps the batteries. It's the higher demand. So I think one of the things we need to start looking is into the nickel mining and companies and see where they're at. And before they start skyrocketing, maybe you want to invest a couple $100 in a few of them, because you never know which one's the one's going to take off.
Exactly. And that's what the Wall Street Journal reported on a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
So it's like I already got a couple of them that I'm looking at and making sure that you try to stay ahead of that.
Well, that's my only concern, Alex, is just that, man, is these batteries. I have heard, I don't personally own a Tesla. At some point, I thought I wanted a Tesla. And I kind of, in a way, do. I unfortunately roll with some other type of vehicles. To be honest with you, luxury vehicles are pricey. As you have said to me multiple times, you got to pay to play. And we certainly do pay. I'll be honest. But here's the thing. Where I struggle about these electric vehicles is some vehicles will get you up to only 100 miles, and then you got to recharge. There's some other, especially in specifically
they're not practical,
Tesla. No, they're not practical whatsoever. Some Teslas will give you an additional 150 miles. So now you got 250. Now, if you go a little more premium, you can get 350. Yeah. You can get 350 miles. And that's the thing. You should not have to spend your cash to get around in something that is so innovative and so exciting when you can actually use the same battery.
And like Lucid Motors are talking about, 500
which those cars
mile
are beautiful,
range.
By the way.
Yeah. They're talking about 500-mile range, but you're also talking about 100 to 150, right? It's a crazy dollar amount. That's not for your average person.
No.
And then the cars that are, like you just said, they're around 100,000. Well, I'm sorry, 100-mile range. And those cars are not practical for people that are moving around or they have to be driving. So I think we still got a road ahead of us on the electric vehicles. But I think for buses, especially school buses, that's a good one because, they're not going that far, 20, 30 miles round trip, or maybe 100 miles, picking a couple rounds here and there. But maybe they have two buses where one's charging and they drive like for the morning and then they switch it in the afternoon, or who knows. But I think that has a potential to really start using on the small transportation for, food and stuff.
No. Listen, I agree. I believe we should be investing in these companies. We do need to stand by these companies in that kind of way. And of course, there's a hefty return. But listen, the reality is, and I've said this so many times, man, is the revenue growth when it comes to percentage wise, when it comes to EV and anything related to EV, revenue growth is incredible. Huge numbers. Market cap is not even that large. We're not talking billions. And you can get, for example, you can jump on Workhorse, ticker WKHS, those of you who are interested. Look at it. It's at $21 a share, market cap at 2.6, and a revenue growth of 13,000. Listen, it's big deal. Why? Because we're moving into the future. So again, I want to encourage those of you that are thinking about investing. You're on the fence. You're watching TikTok videos. You're seeing everybody talk about it. Listen, jump in now. What are you waiting for? It's as easy as $100.
Yeah, no. And going with that it actually flows into our next topic, which is investing and how people to invest. And you know what? Look, TikTok is very good. And that's kind of one of our topics that is coming in. I don't want to jump into it, but there's a lot of people in there that have good information, but you got to be careful because not everyone has your interests at heart, right?
That's right. Everyone wants the clout, but nobody wants to put in the work.
You need to investigate. You need to look at the company, see if there's some credible ones that I actually have invested in a couple of them that I was like, you know what? And then I do my own research and I'll be like, this is good, right? This time right now is the time to invest. And I tell it to all my friends that
you need to invest yesterday. If you didn't invest today, you should have invested yesterday. That's right.
Correct. Because you know what? This is I think last year and this year, I mean, there's a potential for people to be millionaires, right? I mean, I'm also I started investing, I think, way back in high school. We started playing some. I didn't take it serious. And this year, I definitely want to
hit it harder.
I want to hit it definitely harder because there's potential for a lot of upside. And if you listen to this, out of everything that we said, if I can just get you to invest, you can start with $100. There's tickers out there that are
$100
really
a month. $100 a month.
In the compound of that, just make sure you invest in the right company, and I think you'll be happy.
Questions? Hit us up. Find us on social media. Find us wherever you can get a hold of us. Listen, we do charge for certain things, but here's the thing. We can also give stuff away. We can talk. We're not full pros. I mean, I'm not a certified stockbroker. Of course not, but I've been doing it for years. Alex, you agree?
No, yeah. But definitely you got more of the business aspect, in what you do. But I just think
anyone can do it. That's the best part.
I think anybody can invest. I'm still learning. I know quite a bit, but I don't even claim to be an expert. I'm still learning. I'm still reading. I'm still trying to educate myself.
Never stop learning.
That's right. Every day.
That's right. Every day I do the same thing. I'm right there with you. Yep. No. And that's the thing. And that's the thing. And here's the thing. When you stay up on it and you learn, and here's the thing. I'm going to say this once, and I'll probably say this again. If you invest, you need to invest in something you are passionate about. Mm-hmm. Don't invest in a company. Don't invest in a ticker just because someone told you to do it. You need to be passionate about the product. You need to be passionate about their product line, what kind of SKUs they're offering. You need to go out and try them. You need to use them. Listen, if you are not a user of that company, then you do not need to be a buyer. I'm going to say that again. If you are not a user, you do not need to be a buyer, because then you don't know what their weaknesses are. You don't know what their true strengths are. And you don't know where there's opportunity to scale, to build, to grow, to decrease, to increase. There is so much to play around with. So I always said this, no matter who I'm talking to, if you invest, you need to be passionate about the investment, because once you become passionate about the investment, you get really serious. It's not a hobby no more.
No. And I agree 100%. You need to invest in companies you want, but there's also companies out there that you can invest if you're willing to take the risk, right? And in the stock market, there's actually safe investments that you can do, and they're not going to sway that much.
That's right.
They can put
you
the
can even use
compound of
apps
interest.
like Robinhood, Stash. You could use all those guys too. Yeah.
Yeah,
they'll do it for you. Some will even do it for you.
Yeah, Robinhood has got a little thing right now, legality or something about. I don't know what's going on, but I
I personally
trade on E-Trade. and that's the
That's
one
right.
I use. But there's some other good ones out there. But the bottom line is just start investing. Don't matter
Just
where
get
you
in
do
there.
it.
Just get in there. Yeah.
And
Just get in there.
Start
There's
learning.
plenty of ways. Yeah. And that's the thing. I was going to talk to you a little bit about when it came to investing. Listen, I'm talking about this relief bill. You know, we've been talking about AMC as a ticker. It is a sell when it comes. But right now, I am a believer of holding. Because entertainment will not shut down. It's just going to look different for the next couple of months. And I think, and I want to say, again, this is only my prediction, I think vaccines, as far as a heavy amount, we'll talk about this in the next episode when we talk about vaccines, is I think by July, we will see things change tremendously. It will be a mega shift as we move into July.
I'm up on the fence on that ticker, but, you know, even though I'm still up in the fence, I'm gonna throw maybe, because it's only at $2, right?
It's at $2 right now, man.
So I may end up throwing $100. Just see what I can buy, and then just get the feel for it, because I'd rather have $100 invested in buy whatever shares and then if it goes back up to its original, and I don't have it pulled up, but I think it was around $30, $35, $36, $40, or maybe you can pull it up really quick. But, think about it. For every $2 that you put into it, you can potentially get $30 or whatever if it goes back to normal eventually a year and a half from now. Also, along the same trend, Carnival Cruise, that it's a little bit higher on the price range, but
it is.
It's low. It's at a buy. It's
the way to vacation. It's the way to vacation. It is a bargain.
It's in a bargain right now. Buy it at a bargain.
It's at its valuation.
Yeah, dude. And eventually, a year and a half from now, things could be too normal. 2 years from now, and then you start making money. So you're planning for the future. Right. I mean, I always say this: if you're not willing to lose that money, don't invest it in risky stocks.
Yeah.
Right? There's safe stocks that like Coca-Cola, companies that have been proven through there's ETFs out there that consolidates a lot of them, and they're pretty much safe, and they'll have a 10-year, you have a 10%, profitability. But there's some other ones out there that are risky, but you have the potential to make a lot of money as well. So just keep that in mind.
They do. And some of the things that are happening right now when it comes to the relief bill, man, I'm a big proponent of this relief bill because it's helping businesses. It's helping my business. I'm going to be very honest with you. And we've talked about this before, but right now when it comes to saving our stages, when it comes to Broadway, when it comes to movie theaters, anybody that has a stage, Section 324 of this relief bill can give you up to $20 million right now to help save your company. Now listen, AMC, they've been around since 1920. They've been in business for 90 years. You're telling me that they're going to sink? I don't know. I tend to see it differently. Since 1920.
No, I get it. It's just, who knows, right? You got companies that are going to go to movie theaters and they're going to go to HBO Max.
Netflix is gonna start shooting stuff out. Yeah.
Netflix,
Apple TV.
Yep. Netflix already said that they're gonna push a movie every week. I mean, that's crazy.
They did. No, you're right.
So like, if
but here's the thing:
not going
people
to the theater,
still want the experience, bro.
Oh, for sure. I still want the experience. Back in the days when we were in high school, we used to go all the time to the movie theaters. Almost every weekend, we would make it. All the guys.
Tráete las morras.
Now we would all the guys and everybody. We would all go all the time, right? So
yeah, man.
I think that it's definitely you can't cast it aside for sure. But
you can't. No.
I don't know. Right. I don't know.
It's a tough one, but you know what?
I'm still investing though.
Don't stop. But everyone is telling you to sell. They're telling me to sell. I'm reading the reports. They're saying AMC to sell, but I'm a hold. I'm gonna hold.
Well, that's why I said it. I'll probably just drop $100 and see what happens.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
And if it starts going up and we start going like the $12 range, maybe I'll buy some more. And then just buy a little bit more.
Just set that alert.
Once it passes a certain range, then I'll stop at that point, and then just let it see what happens.
It's exciting, man. It's exciting.
Right now, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, and I love the fact. And listen, we're talking about entertainment. You move into entertainment. I mean, let's talk a little bit about Bad Bunny, El Conejo Malo. I mean, what is up, bro, with Bad Bunny in the culture? It is incredible. I mean, this man made it on Rolling Stone. I salute mi gente. I really do. I support mi gente. But I'm a Sesh fan. I'm a Sesh fan. I'm an Anuel fan.
Got some good songs.
I'm a Anuel. I'm sorry. Mira, Real hasta la muerte, right? That's me. I'm Anuel. I am not Bad Bunny, but this man.
Osasuna, right?
But that's the thing, man, is that Bad Bunny has somehow made his way. I'm sorry. It's like the Selena thing, right? Selena did so great in the crossover market. And, may she rest in peace. But that was one of the things that, the whole Quintanilla family, they knew, as well as Emmy Music and those guys, they knew exactly how to make that crossover happen. That Bad Bunny is doing that same, he's taking on that business model. Let's make that crossover.
I was watching
jumping cultures.
Dude, I was watching, there was a TikTok or something, and there was people like, having reactions towards his song, and
yeah.
And I mean, they're getting a lot of views, and I'm pretty sure they don't understand what's going on or what he's saying. But the beat's awesome, the flow is okay, and he's got some really good songs. I like Bad Bunny. That's all I can say. But I mean, I like a lot of other people. I listen to all kinds of music, and I'm glad to see that he's on Rolling Stones, and we're breaking out of that one. Yeah, we're breaking out of that mold, right? We're pushing boundaries, and people are starting to just enjoy it, even though they don't understand it, right? It's kind of like that BTS phenomenon that happened. Is like maybe it's not us, we don't understand it, but younger generations are really flowing to it. So close to him, man. Yeah, man.
It is. Yeah, man. Listen. I respect it. I'm, like I said, I have a different type of flow. But listen, I will give props where props are due. And I'm very proud to say that he is representing the culture, and he's representing it well. He got a deal, if I'm not mistaken, with Crocs. Have you seen that? He's got a deal with Crocs. He's got his own merch out. I mean, that merchandise has made its way over to Hot Topic. I mean, it is incredible, the crossover that's taking place. And I salute the man. I'm glad he's reminding everyone that our culture is here. It's alive. And I wish him well, and I'll continue to support him.
Dude,
but I just hope him and Anuel clean some things up. That's all.
And that's one of the things that we're talking about. It's a mixture. We're a melting pot, right? I mean, there's the foundation here in the United States, and then we have.
I don't know about a melting pot. I'm not a big fan of that phrase, but that's just me.
No, I mean, meaning we're a mixture of.
Because here's what happens. Listen. Here's what happens when you do a melting pot. This is something when I went to Canada and I was in an intensive. I did a 6-week intense class, and I did some back and forth, and I enjoyed Canada, and I learned a lot out of this while I was in school. But one of the things that they said to me, and I referred to it, I was like, America's that melting pot, and I feel like Canada's the same way. And she said to me, one of the things that you got to think about this melting pot is when you begin to melt things, you begin to take away from yourself. Right? You begin to take away that originality, and you start to mezclarla, right? Make it and mix it all together, that you have lost a sense of who you are. And man, she was preaching to me, man. And I was like, what? We ain't no melting pot. I'm not a part of that melting pot.
No. What I meant. I know
what you're saying. I know what you're saying with the variety.
In the sense that we got different cultures, and we're all willing. We have to be willing to accept each other, but not losing your essential who you are or your foundation, no matter from what areas of the country you come, or if you homebred or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. We have to be tolerant, show empathy towards other cultures, and sometimes we don't understand them. I mean, it's like, okay, you're into that, that's fine, but you can't. You don't need to be judgmental towards them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You have to be open.
That's right.
And with the same topic right there, dude. You had one of your topics here was the drama. What's this drama you got going on here?
Man, I was listening to there's this individual, man, who, I mean, this dude, is about to get married, And I mean, I'm going to keep him nameless for the sake of protecting his identity. He's about to get married, and he I can't say the word accidentally because that didn't accidentally happen. He cheated on his fiance with a bridesmaid. Man, talk about some drama. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? If she is a bridesmaid, you are weeks away from getting married. You could be days away from getting married. I don't know. But here's the thing. I know you should be doing that. I know that shouldn't take place. But I'm telling you, man, I love the human race. But my guys, we got to do better, fellas. We got to do better. We got to do better. And, when it comes to something like this, man cheating on his fiance with a bridesmaid, now you not only have ruined a friendship, you have ruined, you've ruined your future. Let's hope she takes him back, but I don't think that's going to happen.
It's one of the things is like the scars are, how can you trust someone? You know what I'm saying? So there's a couple things that, yes, you can work in the relationship, and sometimes there's relationships that do come back, but you got to know yourself.
They come back stronger sometimes. Yeah,
for sure. But that's what
I'm saying. If both people are willing to put in the work, absolutely.
Yeah, you gotta know yourself, right? If you're the type of person that you can't forgive something like that, well, guess what? It's not gonna work.
No,
right? You can work all you want, but if you're that,
or you may not even be willing to forgive yourself.
Yeah, those scars are not gonna heal, right? Yeah, and then there's scars that do heal. So you just gotta put your mindset. Both persons really gotta want it. And man, that's so messed up, right? Like, especially when you're engaged.
It's pretty low, man. It's pretty low.
Like, you can't do that. I mean, especially with the bridesmaid, you like you said, you mess up a relationship, but in a way, or maybe you open up the eyes of that, of your fiance, where it's like, hey, this is not your true friend, and that you thought about, right?
That's right.
I don't know. It's.
But let's hope he doesn't use that as an excuse. Let me show you who your true friends are. Like, come on.
No, I'm not saying use it as an excuse. I'm just saying internally you analyze it and be like, if I'm the bridesmaid, if I'm the bride to be,
should have said something.
I'm be like, dude, like, what's going on? Like, you should have come up for him. I thought we were close. Like really?
You're a bridesmaid.
Yeah, you're supposed to be the right-hand girl right there, the lady who protects her.
Yeah,
watches out for her.
Yeah. Right. Didn't watch out that night.
Say like, hey, watch out, your man's over there doing something. You supposed to tell him. It's like, so there's faults there all around, right?
Man, that's some serious drama. Could you imagine being in the midst of that? Could you imagine being the other person? Could you just imagine being a groomsman or another bridesmaid and just seeing this play out? Man, I'm telling you, I would not want to be involved in that. So, I think about them. I wish them. I don't even know what I wish him, to be honest with you. But you know what?
No,
I do hope that he finds whatever he's looking for, and that she finds something better. Yeah,
Yeah, because, we all think about different things, and in the manner, we're sometimes weak, but that's not no excuse.
Sometimes.
I'm just saying you gotta. Sometimes we're weak, right?
Sometimes.
We could have thoughts, but when you put them into action, that's where it becomes a problem.
That's the problem.
Right?
That's right. That's the problem.
Because you can be like,
you gotta have self-discipline.
Yeah, that girl looks pretty hot, but I'm not gonna go over there and talk to her or mess up my relationship for something, right?
Yeah, man. No.
No, for sure. It's like, absolutely. So this guy is like, oh yeah, maybe she's coming on to me. It's like, dude, you should have been like, hold up.
Come on, man. You're about to get married.
This is my bride. I gotta respect it. You gotta respect your partner.
Yeah.
If you don't want to,
you already started the marriage. You already started the marriage disrespectful.
Yeah, if you don't want to respect your partner, guess what? You shouldn't have a partner.
You don't have a partner.
You should.
You need to keep on out there. Stay out there in the wild. Yeah.
Like what they say, do you, boo boo, right?
That's right. Do you, boo boo?
But como dice
Bad Bunny, perrea sola. Now she does.
Yeah,
now she does. Yeah, now she does. Ya perrea sola, like way by herself. But man, that's the thing. Hopefully his New Year's goal, his New Year's resolution is to do better. I don't know about you, Serge, but despite all this, I think you've got some New Year's goals. I think you were telling me about that the other day. Was that true?
The what?
You were telling me about your New Year's goals last time?
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you. That's one of my topics. We're wrapping up the show here.
Okay, yeah.
One of my New Year's goal for this year is, and I haven't started, but I have a book that's halfway, and I've been so busy with work. But my goal is to read a book a month, right? Yeah. That's either reading it myself or audiobook. But I
Yeah.
definitely want to get more input, different types of book, more financial books. Just get you in the right mindset, learn more, learn how the other people are thinking and why they're getting wealthy, right? Some more spiritual to help you guide yourself, just be a better human. So I think that's my goal for this year. I think I can stick to it and not just do these fitness goals that sometimes you're doing and sometimes you fall off. I wanted to not go crazy, but I think it's achievable to do a book a month. I know way more people read more books, right? But
Yeah, man.
if I don't have that habit built in me yet, so I think a book a month is it's a good book. I mean, it's a good starting point, and hopefully later on it's maybe 2 books a month. But for now, this goal for this year is it's a book a month. So how about yourself? What you got?
Listen, man, this is gonna sound a little crazy, but it's funny you say that because I continue reading, of course, and I'm starting a new book right now, and it's a phenomenal book, man. If I could read about it, hopefully no one's getting bored by this talking about books. But listen, you got to start somewhere. You got to feed yourself. You got to feed your brain. You got to feed that inner goat inside you, right? And I don't mean I'm talking about the goat inside you that wants to do better, that wants to thrive instead of just living. You want to thrive, and I have always since 20, let me be real with you, 2012, I started writing a book. But it's just been in my phone. I would type things up. I'd put it off to the side for the past 8-9 years, man. I have been writing my own book, but I haven't put it together. I haven't done anything with it. It's just been sitting there. And I had a call the other day from a good buddy of mine who we were discussing some things, how we've done a lot of things in the nonprofit world when it comes to our professional lives. And he said to me, maybe we should write a book. And I said to him, that's funny you say that, man, because I've got some writings that I've always wanted to write a book. And it was my plan when I hit 50 years old to write a book. And I'm nowhere near 50, man, but it looks like we're going to start some things here real soon. And we're going to start writing a book. And the book, of course, is basically leadership principles, lessons learned in the nonprofit world. And it's going to be 2 writers. It'll be me and him, and it'll be a co-thing. And we'll see how fast
awesome,
we can shoot this out. Yeah, we'll see how fast we shoot this out, man. But that's the thing is that, sometimes you want to put your experiences out there. And I think anybody who's got some unique experiences, I've had the pleasure of traveling all over the world. I've had the pleasure of meeting people all over the world, and I've learned some valuable lessons when it comes to managing organizations, small organizations, and even large organizations. I've held millions and millions of dollars in budgets that I've had to oversee, and I'm grateful for those opportunities, but I've never had a chance to really share those with people, right? Because I think they're very unique, especially within my culture, especially with those around me and my peers. And I just want to share that. And I want to make this as easy as possible. I've talked about this. I want to make this an easy read, and I'm excited about it, but I don't know when the release date is, but I'll tell you this, we are starting off, man. So I'm excited about it.
It's the plans in motion, right? It's like sometimes,
man. Yeah.
you think I could tell you from my experience, just a year and a half ago, is I envisioned myself in the position that I wanted to be in.
Yeah.
I said like, hey, okay, maybe this position is gonna be in 5 years. That's what I said to me in my head. I was like, okay, maybe at 5 years I'll be pushing this, and within 6 months or 7 months, that position was basically pushed and offered onto me. And
yeah, I remember that.
At that point, I had nothing to lose. It was a gamble, right? It was a gamble because of different restraints, but I knew that the ultimate goal was going to be way better. And if I didn't take that, sometimes you got to take those leaps, right? It's not when you want to. It's when with either God or yourself or whatever you believe in, is He puts those opportunities or self-interest or whatever. I mean, self-made, whatever. It depends on you. We're not. I believe that the position in that time was the right time for me, and I took it, and I didn't pass it through. And,
That's right.
And guess what? It's worked tremendously well for me, and I thought I was going to be there in 5 years, and I was actually there in 6 months, and then I just kept learning, right? So it's like you said it's like you thought you were going to do that book,
Yeah, man.
And at age 50, and now look at you. I mean,
man.
you're not even there, and you're already starting to get those chains in motion, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So
No. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
It's good to have a goal, but if it comes, you got to take it, man. You got to grab it.
You can't have a goal if you don't allow it to become reality. And that was the problem is I set this goal, but I never made it into reality because I was shooting it way out there. Listen, I can go back less than 3 years, man. A lot of people don't know my story, and you know the story, Sergio. But you go back 3 years ago, and I started from all over again from nothing, zero.
No, and you know, and then later on,
and
we don't want to go too much into detail of what we do.
Things have changed dramatically.
Yeah, and I think eventually we'll start touching it a little bit, some personal experience, some other stuff, and our backgrounds and everything. But I think those will come down the road. I think it's just going out there, like these first podcasts here and the coming ones, is just showing our ideas, showing our opinions, right or wrong. You can agree, you can disagree, and tell us why you disagree. And
that's right.
If you got any,
we want to talk to you. We want you to hear us out.
For sure.
But we want to hear you out too.
Yeah,
and we may even get you on the show. You never know.
Yeah, but you want to close out the show here?
Yeah. Listen. I was thinking the other day, and I do a lot of thinking. That's the unfortunate part. Is my mind is always going, man. It's hard to shut down. Maybe some of you today are going through that, where your mind is just always going so rapidly, man. And especially the things that are going on in the world. You know, sometimes I have learned Sometimes I have just learned to just quiet things down. There's a man by the name of Stephen Richards, man. Stephen Richards said that when you connect to the silence within you, that is when you can make sense of the disturbance going on around you. I'm going to say that again. Stephen Richards said that when you connect to the silence within you, that is when you make sense of the disturbance going on around you. So in all that you do, keep in mind to connect with the silence within you. My name is Carlos.
This is Alex. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time.
See ya. Word. Yeah.